Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Vanessa. In today's video, we're gonna be giving thanks to all the books that we've really enjoyed.
It's the end of the
In this collab video, I want to thank Becky for organizing and putting this all together. I believe the idea initially came from Jackie and Becky has just kind of rolled with it. I will link both of them down below, as well as all of the other booktubers that have participated in this collab. In this collab, we are going to be spelling out the word thanks. I think some people are going to go a little extra and spell out Thanksgiving, but I'm just going to spell out thanks with a couple of books that I highly recommend. So the first letter is obviously T. I think this should be on everybody's list. I am gonna go with This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. If this is not on your list or you haven't read this, what are you waiting for? Because this is like hands down one of the best romances that I've ever read. It is not just a romance between two people, but it's also a journey of self-love and really just taking charge of your life despite whatever circumstances that you've been dealt, working hard for the things that you want in your life and passing that down onto your children. This one follows Soledad, and she is a single mom. I believe she owns her own business where she cleans, and I think she does like social media around that. She ends up meeting Judah, who is also a single father, and you really just get to love both of these characters, but you also just fall so in love with Soledad. Soledad has this very bad history with her ex. You have to read it to find out. I'm not spoiling this for you. You kind of start to see it in the first book in this series, which is Before I Let Go. So if you haven't read this one, I recommend this one too. But you kind of see the cruddy husband that Soledad has had in the past and just how she moves on from that. How she begins to love herself, date herself, just put herself first. And she doesn't need Judah to make her life complete. She appreciates that Judah is there to be in her life and make life more fun and more interesting, but she doesn't need him. So I love this book for that reason, and I highly recommend you pick up this book. And if you haven't read it, please stop everything and read it now. The next book here, we're gonna go still romance. I want to say all of these books are romance here. I kind of wanted to take a little bit of a romantic thanks approach, but the next one is a little bit of a darker variety. So the next one is Her Soul to Take. This is by Harley LaRue. So Harley LaRue has become one of my favorite authors. I just love her spin on everything that she does. She's such an amazing individual if you follow her on social media. But this book is between Leon and Ray, and this does have some paranormal aspects to it. So this book does have to do with like monsters and demons and just basically falling in love with one. I love this book. I feel like I can't really say too much about it other than just read it. While this is the first book in the series, there's two others that follow other characters from this book that I still feel like you would need to read this one to understand the overarching plot line, because I feel like it does take some plot from this one, moves on to that in the next book, and then the third book as well, even though they have different characters. A little bit of a sweeter romance for you. A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. So this one is between Ren and Crew, and they go to Lancaster Prep, which I think this whole series is called the Lancaster Prep series. But the whole meaning of this book becomes very evident. I think at the very end you find out what a million kisses in your lifetime means and what all the kisses are and everything like that. But this is so sweet. It is more of a YA type of book. I believe like they're kind of in like that high school age, but it's so sweet and so tender, and just, I don't know, there's lots of really cute butterfly kinds of quotes in this. So if you need something a little bit sweeter, I definitely would recommend this one. Now, we all know with some sweetness, we like some spicy, right? So I had to throw in Neon Gods by Katie Roberts. This is one of my favorite books, and it is one that I've annotated pretty heavily. This is a take on Hades and Persephone. It's a very, very spicy book, I will say. If you know Katie Roberts, you know she's very spicy. But this is where Persephone has fled the city of Olympus because Zeus is being an a-hole, and she ends up in the arms of Hades. Now there's this whole battle going on. A war might be ensuing. Persephone is just very attracted to Hades, and they kind of do some very sexual things things to maybe get back at Zeus. It's a good time. I do want to say you might want to check some trigger warnings for this one because it could be sensitive to some readers, but overall, if you want a spicy time, this was a fun time. Now, to add a little drama to your lives, not drama, trauma, we're gonna go with Keeping 13. In the same vein as when I recommended Kennedy Ryan's Before I Let Go, I'm also going to recommend Binding 13 because Keeping 13 is the second book in this Boys of Tommen series, but I can't spell thanks with Binding 13. So Keeping 13 is just as good as Binding 13. And this follows Johnny and Shannon. They are, I believe, set in Ireland, and they're in what is the equivalent of US high school. This just continues to follow their story, and it is so gut-wrenching and pulls on your heartstrings. You feel so deeply for these characters. I know some people have talked about with Binding 13, it's really hard to maybe stay interested at first, but then they continue on, and it is just phenomenal. They cannot believe that they would have decided to DNF so early, but this one definitely you want to check your trigger warnings because there's a lot of heavy topics in this. It's like one of those books that it's hard to explain why you should read it. The impact it has is just so lasting. There's not only found friendship, but there's just this intense teenage love. There is people going to bat for you. There's just a lot of heartwarming things. There's a lot of heavy topics that deal with family dynamics and getting out of situations, breaking cycles. But overall, I feel like I can't recommend this series enough. I really hope that you pick up this book. And finally, I want to bring to light an author that you may have not heard too much about. She's probably one of my favorite authors, but I'm gonna go with Switched by Sarah Reddy. So this is kind of like a Freaky Friday take, but more like romantic. So the man and the woman switch bodies, and basically they have things coming up in their lives, but they're in opposite bodies. So for example, I believe she ends up in his body and she has to go to his brother's wedding or something and be the best man, and she's like, I don't know anything about this dude, right? So it's a very fun, interesting story, and I feel like I can't recommend this book without recommending these books. So it's part of the Ghosted series, and Ghosted is the first book in the series. They're all interconnected standalones, but I will say Faded is probably my favorite, followed by Wished, which I don't have the copy of yet, but these books are some of my favorites. And Sarah Reddy is also just a fantastic, amazing human being. Like, she is the sweetest person. I think that you would really enjoy reading Sarah Reddy's books if you're someone who likes contemporary romance. I will say there's not like spicy spice, right? But you do get a little bit of steam. You get some open door bedroom scenes, and you get these really heartfelt, heartwarming quotes. With Faded in particular has just hit me, and it's just so sweet. I don't know. I recommend all these books. Yeah, I hope that my video convinces you to check out some of these romance books if you haven't already. I tried to get a good variety of them, and I try to pick ones that I know that I have enjoyed and will reread for many years to come. But I want to thank you all for being part of this amazing book community, for subscribing to my channel, hitting the like button, commenting with me in chat or on my live streams or wherever we chat. I'm so thankful for all of the people who have come into my life, for the booktube community, and all of the people who have just enriched my life in so many different ways. So I really appreciate you all, and I can't wait to catch you guys in the next one.
Everywhere on TV, couples and Christmas trees, gift wrapping and cheese.